beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination.
Frozen in a time and space divide. But how would the universe survive? Dark daughters of the 24th and one-half century, protecting the powerless and the weak. Dark daughters, he's fighting tyranny in the 24th and one-half century.
Hello and welcome to episode 64 of ToonCast Beyond, brought to you by the Geeks Radio Network. I am one of your hosts, Steve, Joe, and Mike, and joining me once again from the 20th anniversary of a Goofy movie last year is Doug Abel from Talkin About My Generation.
Hello, sir.
Hello. As we've been doing already, we're going to be reformatting ToonCast Beyond and moving towards a seasonal format. What this means is instead of an overall cartoon series review, we're going to look at each season in depth. Today, we're going to give you our thoughts on Duck Dodgers Season 1. This is the 2003 series that Cartoon Network had done. We will talk about the original Chuck Jones short, Duck Dodgers, in the 24th and a half century. As we said when we did our little Joe Oleski Rest in Peace kind of tribute a little while ago on episode 63.5, we were going to come back and, you know, when you and I and Neil had done that, we were going to come back and do this. And Neil, while he likes Looney Tunes and all, loves Looney Tunes and all that stuff, he just didn't have that much interest in doing this. But anyway, so we're here. We're going to talk about Duck Dodgers to continue on the quote-unquote in memory of Joe Oleski, because he did pass away in the last month or so. I remember seeing this series briefly when it came on. I caught episodes here and there, but I was never watching it week to week, and it's a Cartoon Network series, folks. Yeah. Cartoon Network juggles their their time slots like a bad clown juggles bowling pins at a circus. I mean, it just...
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the knife swallower cutting open the flame breather's throat or something. I mean, it's just... Especially at this time, because at this time in Cartoon Network's history, and the reason why I say this is 2003, folks. This is 13 years, oh my God, it's 13 years old. Jesus. This is 13 years ago, okay? I remember, the one show I remember Cartoon Network constantly screwing with a time slot was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Granted, that was a year before this, but, which is funny because both this and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe both have 39 episodes, and then they went away. But the original short back in 1953 was Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century. Was directed by Chuck Jones. The story was by Michael Maltese. Voices by Mel Blanc, obviously. Music by Carl Stalling. Stalling, I should say, not Stalin. Stalling, thank you.
Yeah, be careful of that. At that time, that was the whole Red Scare.
Yeah. The animation on this short was done by Lloyd Vaughn, Ken Harris, Ben Washam, and Harry Love. Did special animation effects, layouts by Maurice Noble. Was released July 25th, 1953. Wow. Jeez, wow.
Yeah.
So you may fire when ready, Grizzly.
Oh, God.
So this very first short, which introduced Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century, is basically he must go to Planet X to save the last remnants of the shaving cream atom.
Yes. The rare Illudium Fosdex. Yes.
That creature stole the space modulator. It's all I remember from Marvin. It is him and Bugs.
Oh, yeah.
And the Iridium Pew 36 explosive space modulator.
Oh, you're making me so angry.
Yes. Sorry, I have too much fun with Marvin.
Yeah, Marvin's awesome. And I think the coolest thing about this is how the short, they increasingly get worse and worse in their attacks of each other.
Yes.
I think one of the coolest ones was when they were doing the fire back and forth, and one of them actually fires a bullet and Dodgers fires back, ow, because
Yes.
ow comes out on the text. I absolutely love that. I actually love the ending the best on this. Planet X has been destroyed, ending the conflict in a stalemate. The cartoon ends with Dodgers dramatically claiming the last remaining chunk of the planet for Earth, while Marvin and the cadet hang helplessly from a root below, the latter delving into the final punchline relating to Dodgers' Pyrrhic victory. Big deal.
Yeah.
And there were other Dodgers shorts that they did. There was Duck Dodgers and the Return of the 24th and a Half Century. There was a segment in Tiny Toon Adventures for the Return to Active Anchor Zone, Duck Dodgers Jr.
And I hate to say it, I was a huge fan of Tiny Toon Adventures. I don't remember that episode.
I don't remember it either. Yeah, there was another one. Like I said this off air. There was another one where Thurl Ravenscroft was the narrator, and I don't remember. And maybe Neil can tell us. I know Neil knows a lot about this. Maybe one of the other listeners can let us know what the name of that. I believe it was Super Duck, but I could be wrong. I don't know. So setting the stage here for Duck Dodgers, the 2003 animated series. First season is basically 13 episodes because we're 2003. We live in a time where it's 13 episode season for whatever reason. Which kind of makes a little bit more sense. For the concept, it's primarily based around the original Duck Dodgers short, which is actually set roughly in 2350 AD. The series has also taken many visual and thematic cues from other Looney Tunes shorts unrelated to the Dodgers character. I think the coolest thing about Duck Dodgers is what they do with the other Looney Tunes characters.
Oh, God, yes.
You've got Marvin the Martian as the Martian commander. You've got Yosemite Sam as some sort of space pirate. And then you have the Fudd.
Be very, very quiet.
The Fudd is a parasitic, mind-altering alien disease.
Yeah.
It's basically a combination of the Flood and the Borg people.
I love Yosemite Sam's, what was it, Cthulhu Sam?
Yeah.
Which was supposed to be a parody of the Klingons.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, they happen to have Michael Dorn, who was the Klingon, as one of the voices.
Mm-hmm. He plays the Martians, the Martian robots. He does those voices. Also making appearance is the Gophers, Macintosh, not Macintosh. I love that episode, the Martian golf course. we will lay waste to the surface dwellers. It's like, yeah, sure, okay.
The two gophers who their sexuality is, it's very obvious.
It's always been questionable one way or the other, but yeah, and even later in later series, I believe it was the Looney Tunes show. It was actually Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche.
Oh God, yes,
as voicing the two of them, and they pretty much set that in stone. Nasty Canasta, Taz, Rocky and Muggsy, and the Crusher also make appearances in the series. I think the craziest thing, and you mentioned this. You mentioned this off air at some point or another, but in addition to these pop culture references, the show's theme song, which is arranged by the Flaming Lips,
yes,
is sung by Tom Jones in a style reminiscent of Jones's performance of the theme from James Bond's film Thunderball.
Oh, I love that. Just hearing it. My wife even, I was listening, watching a few episodes before we recorded tonight, and my wife was like looking, she's like, is that? And I'm like, Tom Jones, yes. Like, wow. Why is he singing for a cartoon? That was actually really kind of cool just to hear it. It fit, but it was weird to hear it for me because I'm like, Tom Jones never sings stuff like this. He sings the sound of it, and that's it. But I've never heard him do it for a cartoon before.
As I've said before in previous ToonCast episodes, we are going through season ones of various shows, and I don't know how long we're going to be going through season ones, but eventually we will get to season 2 of Duck Dodgers, and Tom Jones does make an appearance in season 2 in cartoon form, and he does sing his signature song, It's Not Unusual.
Oh, God.
So that's something to look forward to for season 2. For the cast of characters, you have Captain Duck Edgar Dumas Aloysius Egonian Dodgers, is voiced by Joe Oleski. Eager Young Space Cadet, voiced by Bob Bergen. Dr. IQ High, voiced by Richard McGonigal? I'm probably screwing that name up.
Richard McGonigal, maybe?
Yeah. McGonigal. That's what it is, yeah. McGonigal, yeah. Captain Star Johnson, voiced by the none other than Mr. Peterman, John O'Hurley.
That was kind of weird for me to hear him because I was listening and all of a sudden I hear it was on the Green Lantern episode. And I hear him going, I love that dress, but it looks better on you.
Yeah, exactly. You got Bigfoot, is voiced by Michael Patrick McGill. For the Martian Empire, we have Martian Commander X2, voiced by Joe Oleski. I'll say this for Joe's version of Marvin, and as I said earlier, this is Marvin playing a character. This isn't real.
Yeah.
It's so I give Joe all the license in the world because it's not just your standard Marvin the Martian cartoon. It's him as a Martian Commander character, and Joe's Marvin is probably, outside of Mel, it's probably the best because the inflections he puts in it sounds similar to Mel, but it isn't Mel's version.
Yeah, you can hear certain things with it where it's like, no, that's not Mel. And some of it, like, I noticed when he was switching back and forth, and he was, especially in, like, Quarterback Attack, I'm listening to it and I'm going, wow, that's not Mel. That's not, that's not Eric Bauza doing it. That's not, Bob Bergen doing it, from what I've heard. It was good. I'm not discounting that at all, but it was like you could hear it and you're like, that's not quite Marvin. It's a different Marvin. And that was fun.
Yeah. But it's not a bad thing because the Martian Commander is basically in love with the Martian Queen, and he believes he's going to be the Martian King, and they set up this whole thing where the Martian Queen falls in love with Dodgers and whatever else, and they eventually have to, in one of the episodes, Dodgers has to face 3 trials. And one of the trials is walking back to the Martian kingdom through the desert. And I got to give Joe Oleski all the credit in the world for Marvin, because the breakdown that the character goes through as they're walking through the desert, and come to find out, Dodgers has a timeshare in Palm Springs, so the heat doesn't affect him. And he has all these salty snacks with him, and Marvin actually makes a joke about there being water on Mars, and basically digs and digs and digs, finds some water, and then Dodgers comes in and screws it up and puts his hands in there, puts his feet in there, and it just drives the Martian commander crazy. The Martian Queen is voiced by none other than Wayne Campbell's girlfriend, Cassandra, Tia Carrere.
I kept listening to it. I'm like, God, who is that? Now that you're saying that, I'm like, oh, yep, I hear it.
Mm-hmm. Frank Welker is in this series.
Oh God,
yes, he is Commander K9. He is the dog, of course. He's every dog in every cartoon ever made.
And for those of you who are Doctor Who fans, this was before Doctor Who, so
Well, no, technically it wasn't.
Well, no,
it was before the current series, yes.
Well,
but
the K9 character came out in the Bugs, the Bugs and Marvin cartoon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was before the actual Doctor Who and the K9 and Doctor Who. So guess where they got it?
Yeah, that's true. And then, as we already mentioned, the Martian Centurion robots are voiced by Michael Dorn. And the Instant Martian, Strange Bird-like Martian. Oh, they brought those in too. Great. Hairway to the Stars. Yes. Oh, I missed that one. So yeah, interesting cast of characters. I really did dig a lot of the stuff with this series. As I said earlier, my first impressions of it when I first saw it way back when, I thought it was cool. I thought they found some really nice way to basically make the show. There are certain ways certain cartoons and certain television shows in general can either pull off pop culture references well, or they can basically force feed them to you. And Duck Dodgers pulls them off very well.
Yeah, my thing, I got to be honest, I never actually saw the show when it was running on Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I knew about it because I remember seeing, clips here and there at Comic-Con, and I kept thinking, oh, I need to sit down and watch that. And then just Cartoon Network fell apart with everything. So, I didn't get a chance to see it. And to come in and see this, I actually started watching it when you said, oh, here, go watch this online. And I'm watching, I'm going, hey, this is really good. This is a lot better than I expected it to be, because it wasn't, it was corny and it wasn't. It had the original humor that the original Looney Tunes series, of cartoons shorts did, but this is still building off of that and creating an actual series, which is shocking to me that I never used to see before with Looney Tunes cartoons. They were all, here's one episode, prepackaged little thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's the show really does, I've watched the whole first season, all 13 episodes, and where I watch them online, the only thing it's more so a thing of the website that I use than anything else. They basically split them up, 12A, 12, I wish it was just episode 12, episode 11, don't split them, but whatever, that's part of the website deal, not with the actual cartoon. But I mean, they took a lot of loving plot. You know, you can tell the creators of this, people like Tony Cervone and Spike. Oh, what's Spike's name? I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, they took the main premise of the original short, and as you said, created a universe with it, wherein because the whole plot line for people that have never seen the series is Dr. IQ High basically. Wow, I can't believe I can actually pull this one off. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, Doc Dodgers, the 2003 series here, it's essentially Demolition Man.
Oh God, you're right. You are so right. Oh my God.
It's essentially Demolition Man because they, back in the 20th century, Doc Dodgers did something and he ended up, cryo-frozen, whatever, Mr. Freeze kind of thing, whatever else, and then they thaw him out in the 24th and a half century. So they thaw him out, they make him a commander, or a captain or whatever. There's even an episode where he eventually becomes, and I don't think this happened in season 1. I think this was a different season. They make him an admiral in one of the episodes, but for season 1, my favorite episodes would probably we'll talk about the Green Lantern later. That's something completely separate, so we'll talk about that in a bit. It is in continuity. It's episode 9 of the first season, but I think, like I said, K9, episode 6, K9 Caddy and Pig of Action, those are awesome. Because K9 gets involved in a series of trouble with the pair of 4 armed gophers while X2 plays golf. And then the cadet finds a piece of glowing ore which turns him into a hulking juggernaut during a stakeout on the Clunkins. So these 2 episodes, Dodgers isn't even really in K9 Caddy. He is like in one little scene where X2 visualizes him, kind of like a la Waterboy. But it's pretty much the Martian Commander and K9 versus the Gophers, and I just love the. I wish the army of Gophers had a little bit more to do, but other than that, I love that episode. And then Pig of Action. How can you not love where Porky is not actually Porky?
Yeah.
He's essentially turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger.
See, for me, I gotta say mine. I obviously Green Lantern, but we'll get to that.
Get to that. Yeah.
I thought Quarterback Quack was really good because here he is he basically is playing the Water Boy, and you see him doing the whole. Here, this is my life. I'm here on a Waterboy scholarship for college. And that was kind of hokey. I love the fact that they take and they steal the actual quarterback and send him. Marvin sends him back in history to go to the Battle of Bighorn. And when it's all over, he comes out and he goes, "So, did you know that the only survivor from Custer's army was a horse named Comanche?" And I'm like, wow, so they actually got that little, that little bit that they would stick in old 80s cartoons of, here, learn something throughout. Probably that one, and then I liked the Fast and the Feathery. That was another good one.
Yeah, they always do stuff like that. I also like The Wrath of Canasta.
Yeah.
Because, Nasty Canasta was always one of those one-off Looney Tunes characters that, he would either go up against Bugs or Daffy. He was kind of like a fill-in for Sam. So I like that one. I actually like Back to the Academy. Back to the Academy is pretty cool. Basically, what happens in that one, folks, is the cadet says, "Oh, well, here's the morning. Here's today's space mail," and it opens the episode where Dodgers is just getting up, and it doesn't look like they're in space, so it's always nighttime in space. But basically, he says, "Oh, good morning, Captain Dodgers. Here's this morning's space." I now live in an apartment where my mail doesn't come till 4 or 5 o'clock at night. I used to live in a place where my mail would be there by 11 a.m. every day. I want morning mail again, damn it. Anyway, that's a whole other tangent. So Dodgers is going through this, and he basically throws them all out, and he's going to throw out the last one, which is actually a notice that he needs to go to Academy training, Galactic Protectorate training. It's mandatory. And, Cadet says, "Oh, no, I got my diploma last week." So he goes, and it's just hilarious. Basically, he pretty much fails the entire training session, and then when he wants to get, the good grade, he basically uses his training to sneak into the sergeant's office, take the book, change the grade, and get his diploma. Absolutely love that. The final episode of season 1 has it's Enemy Yours and Duck Departure. Basically, Enemy Yours is where Dodgers must prove to X2 that he's a worthwhile enemy, and then Duck Departure is Dodgers quits his job at the Protectorate following a three-way battle to work in a restaurant. But no matter how hard he tries, he keeps being reminded of his former occupation. I really dug that because you basically put him in fast food, and they basically have all the same characters in just different getups. They have IQ High in a getup. They have the cadet in a getup. It's those animation models, but it's different character getups kind of thing, and right. I just absolutely love that. The biggest thing they did in season 1 is episode 9, the Green Loon Turn.
Oh.
Basically what happens is Dodgers goes into the cleaners, picks up the cleaners gives him the wrong thing. He ends up with oversized green, black, and white pajamas with a stupid mask, and then he finds a ring in the pocket, and the ring basically caters. It's kind of like jacket dry. It's kind of like power laces kind of thing. And he goes off and becomes a Green Lantern and goes to, there's...
Oh. I just love this because I'm watching the episode, and I am a huge Green Lantern fan. I started reading the comics back when they had the whole Emerald Twilight and Emerald Dawn. Mm-hmm. And that's really when I came in. And so seeing kind of the origin and being on Oa, and then all of a sudden now we're getting this episode of, Duck Dodgers going through and showing up on Oa with, Kilowog and
Kamatui and
Guy Gardner shows up. I mean, he doesn't say anything, but he's there. You can see him.
Yep.
I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
The squirrel is there. Tomari is there. It is really awesome. Did you know? Yeah. I want to remember who does Kilowog, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I know it's someone I know because I know I've heard the voice before, and it's not the person that voices him in the Justice League cartoon. But you know who voices Sinestro?
Oh, I should know this.
It's friggin' Discord, dude. It's John Delancey.
Oh my God. Okay.
The only reason why I even know this is because I had been watching pony stuff, because we're eventually going to do My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Not we as in you and I, but the show. We're going to do it on the show here. My girlfriend Jen and I are going to do it. We're eventually going to do My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 1. And I just finished doing the pull bag Fiendship is Friendship February 2016, where Nicole and I reviewed a bunch of IDW's My Little Pony comics. And in one of them, in one of the comics, Discord shows up. Now, when season 2 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was airing on the Hub, when it used to be the Hub before it went back to Discovery Family or whatever the hell it is now, back when it was awesome, I actually watched the season 2 because I was curious. It was like, oh, John Delancey is a villain in My Little Pony. How can you say no to Star Trek's Q being a villain in My Little Pony, regardless of how you feel, how any of us, even me, feel about My Little Pony as an overall franchise? I'm like, okay, so I checked it out. I heard his voice, and like, all right, cool. And going back and watching this and listening to it again, and I'm like, oh my God, Sinestro is John Delancey. That's pretty awesome.
Oh my God, I just saw who voiced Hal Jordan for that episode.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes, I don't want to ruin that yet.
Yeah. Who was Kilowog? Because I do not remember. I know I've heard the voice.
I am looking. I don't see it here. I'm looking, IMDb and.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I think we're going to take a quick break, folks, so we can compose ourselves.
Yeah.
Hit it, boys!
Dodgers, duck Dodgers, known throughout the starry space frontier. Dodgers, brave duck Dodgers, a hero known to all both far and near.
One time Canasta was a gunnin' for Duck Dodger, with his laser pistols blasting up the town. Dodgers grabbed a mirror and deflected back the blast so unexpected that Canasta got all sizzled, crisp, and brown.
Now that's just downright painful. Dodgers, duck Dodgers, he always kept the bad guys on the run. Dodgers, brave duck Dodgers, those robots never pack a loaded gun.
In a bid to lure Duck Dodgers to his ruin, Canasta tied his honey to the track. But Dodger smashed that desperado like a soggy avocado, chewed him up like corn tortilla snacks.
Surprisingly refreshing.
Dodgers, duck Dodgers, to outlaws he brought misery and grief. Dodgers, brave duck Dodgers, aided by his comedy relief.
Get your own song.
Things were looking bad that day for Dodger, 'cause Canasta had him cornered in the path. So Duck let out a bellow and brought robot buffalo stampeding down on old Canasta's lady.
Dodgers, duck Dodgers, danger he never did avoid. Dodgers, cowardly duck Dodgers, 'cause he knows he's only fighting an android.
Just yodel.
Oodly, oodly, oodly,
Diddly, 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 diddly.
We are both such poosers, folks. Oh my God. How do we not know that it's friggin' Bender, John DiMaggio is Kilowog? I'm like, I'm watching the episode. I'm like, when I was watching the episode, I'm like, I know who this is. I've heard the voice before. How do I not know, like, the guy? And I'm like, oh, we just looked it up during the break there, and it's John DiMaggio. So the voice cast, obviously Joe Lesky, Bob Burton are in there. John Delancey as Sinestro, John O'Hurley as Captain Star Johnson, Greg Griffin as Boudica, the dog owner, which it's Gray Delisle, but Griffin is her married name.
Yeah.
For people that don't. John Stevenson as Ganthet. That's awesome. That's an awesome voice that he did for that. Frank Welker as the squirrel. D. Bradley Baker as the attack droids. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's cool. It's D. Bradley Baker because the attack droids were the ones that, all the high school drama.
Yeah.
Of course, you have Tara Strong as Kat Matui and the little girl that Dodgers nearly killed her dog. And the voice that comes in at the end to clear up the dry cleaning issue as Hal Jordan,
Kevin Smith.
The master of all dick jokes, Kevin Smith.
Yeah. What was so bad about it was like they show him and he's wearing Duck Dodger's outfit. It clearly doesn't fit him.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Jethro trying to wear, a little sailor suit from, Beverly Hillbillies or something like that. Just looked absolutely ridiculous.
If you look at that episode, they basically did the reverse for both characters.
Oh yeah.
Dodgers didn't fit the Green Lantern uniform until they put the ring on. So naturally, they're going to have Hal Jordan in Dodger tights. Oh God! Now all I can think of is man in tights. That's all I can think of now. For season 1 on a 0 to 5 scale, 5-star scale, I gotta give season 1 a 4. I really dug it. I thought it was great. I know it gets better from here. There weren't a lot of episodes that I just didn't want to watch out of the 13. I thoroughly enjoyed all 13 of them. I did not think that the Loon Turn episode was this early I thought it was later in the series, but we'll give that a pass. What would you give it 0 to 5 stars?
Oh man, I think I'm going to have to go with a 4 as well. I mean, there were a couple of episodes that were like, but overall it was great. It just those few were like, I could have done without them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys, as far as when and where you can see the show, I believe it's on iTunes. I could be wrong. I do know they did release the first 2 seasons, 13 episodes each, on DVD. If you want to know where we're watching it, you can shoot me an email, tfu1mike@gmail.com. I refuse to say the website's name because I don't want that resource to go away. I found this really awesome website, folks, and I've watched a crap ton of cartoons from it. So most people know what it is, but for those that don't, yeah.
Please don't ruin it for us. There's a lot of stuff that we enjoy watching there.
It's under the cone of silence. So we're going to take another quick break, come back with promotion stuff and all that good stuff, and closing the show after this.
Dodgers.
Hello, cadet.
Hello, Captain Dodgers.
So, what do you think of my new uniform? I found it in that box from the cleaners.
A Green Lantern, huh?
What's a Green Lantern?
Can we talk about this on the ground?
Hurry, I might be losing my grip.
The Green Lantern Corps is an intergalactic organization of heroes established to maintain peace and justice. Each member is issued a powerful ring to enforce and protect said justice throughout the galaxy.
And to think they selected me to join their esteemed ranks.
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks, every Friday on the GeekCast Radio Network.
It's Showtime Synergy. The latest review podcast from the GeekCast Radio Network is here. So join TFG1 Mike, Nicole Hailstorm, and myself, Lady Rec, as we will be reviewing all 65 episodes of Joe and the Holograms in a 25-episode-long podcast. You can find Showtime Synergy on iTunes and GeekCastRadio.com. We are the truly outrageous podcast that you want to be listening to.
All right, folks, we are back, and final thoughts on Duck Dodgers 2003 Season 1, sir.
I liked it. I got to be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of the episodes other than, the first season, but I'm going to keep watching it. I'm enjoying it. I'm digging it for what it is.
Yep, absolutely. I love this show. it's, you look back on the original Chuck Jones short and you figure, oh, this can only be one short. And as we've already talked about, the last 30 or so minutes, basically, they took the overall premise and built a story around it where it's basically the Galactic Protectorate versus the Martian Empire. It's essentially Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Star Wars and Demolition Man rolled up into one. Wow.
And of course, Buck Rogers in 25th century, but yeah, that's an aside.
Yeah. Absolutely. Check out Duck Dodgers Season 1. If you love Daffy, if you love the Looney Tunes characters, just go check it out. It's absolutely awesome. What do you got coming up on Talking About My Generation, sir?
Well, we are looking out at possibly doing some stuff, maybe going to the future and going all the way back to the Stone Age. We'll see what we've got. I'm hinting at some stuff there for you guys. If you want to check out...
Dabba and Ooba Dooba.
Oh, yeah. If you want to check us out, go out to see us at mygenerationpodcast.com. You can listen to all of our episodes there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining us here on ToonCast Beyond. There are several ways to get in contact with us. Leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on this and all of our other episode posts. Leave the show feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter at ToonCast Beyond is the show Twitter. Mine is TFG and Mike. What is your Twitter?
At Sprzout. SPRZOUT. I know. This is going to be like my Scrappy Doo for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out Talking About My Generation over there on Facebook as well. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast Beyond and wish you'll join us next time when we will be giving you our thoughts on Tiny Toon Adventures Season 1. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to watch all of the episodes from Tiny Toons Season 1, folks, because Tiny Toons was made at a time where first-run syndication animation was still, you needed to have a certain number, that magic number of episodes, and I completely forgot that there are 65 episodes in Season 1 of Tiny Toons. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get through all of Season 1. We'll get the general gist. Maybe we'll pick out our favorites and watch those kind of thing. People, I would love to... It would take me about with everything else I have to do with GCRN, it would take me about a month and a half. And I really don't want to give you guys a month and a half hiatus of ToonCast Beyond. We've kind of been on a little bit of hiatus between this episode and the Joe Oleski and Remembrance episode. But we're doing this, to remember Joe, talking about Duck Dodgers, and next week or the week after talking about Tiny Toons. So I think for Season 1 of Tiny Toons, we're going to go through and watch several of our favorite episodes. Maybe we'll pick out some favorite skits. And obviously, we'll talk about the voice cast. Because Tiny Toons, it's not like Duck Dodgers. It's not like Turtles. It's not like a standard current, the last 15 years at least of cartoons where it's a standard story. Tiny Toons is I don't want to say one-off, but they're individual story-based episodes. There isn't a continuous plot thread throughout.
It's just it's something else. Really, it's the best way to describe it.
I mean, it's a good show. I don't dislike. I love the show. I love Tiny Toons.
Oh yeah.
Plucky said it best. He's exploding with talent. I mean, so. So yeah, for now, I am TF2 and Mike with
Doug Abel.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Just a cotton-tailed menudo. You can't pull this show off without me. I am Plucky Duck. I resume.